All right, so to invert these, just hit Command I. That will invert it. Now you see it makes it all go away. It's hiding it all now. Then we're going to grab our brush, which you can find over here in your toolbar. It's also just hit B. Right, it's your brush tool. It's going to give you this little circle. Now your active colors are these two squares right here. All right, these are the colors you have kind of loaded right now. Black being the active because it's in front, white being the background or the secondary color. I want to paint with white onto these image layer or layer masks because it'll start revealing the parts underneath. Does that make sense? All right, so I'm going to bring the guy's head back in. I have my brush. Things that you need to pay attention to with the brush is the opacity and the flow. Okay. Also the brush size. There are keyboard shortcuts, like always, for this to make it much more intuitive, much smoother to adjust it. So holding Control and Option on your keyboard, if you click and drag up, you change the hardness of the brush. So whether or not it's a fuzzy brush or a hard brush. I'm going to suggest that you try to work with fuzzy brushes as much as possible. Okay? And then sliding left and right, you change the diameter and the size. All right? Something else I would mess with is the opacity. I'd maybe drop it just a little bit. All right? So you're not working with something that's very 100% hard or is not going to make like a complete 100% change right away. You want to be able to build up layers. It's all about subtlety. All right? Building layers up. All right, let's find out where's my face. There he is. So I'm just kind of clicking and dragging. This is easier with a Wacom tablet, but for now. So you see how like I don't have, he's not coming through 100% because I have that opacity set to 72. So I can click and drag if I want like more intensity in one area. I can kind of click and hold that. I should drop that even more actually. I'm gonna shift back to my black and hide him again. So I'm just painting a bunch of times over it. See how subtle that is? Make it really hard, really soft. See how light the color is? That tells you the opacity is really low. Alright, I'm going to bring that opacity back up now. Shifting my colors, so Shift X swaps these two colors out down here. So if I hit Shift X, swaps my two colors. Okay. So now I want to start painting with white. Oops. I suggest starting with big brushes first, and then moving down to your smaller brushes to get kind of some subtlety. All right. Then let's come up to our house. I'm going to unify that. Well, actually, I'll bring it in first, and then we'll unify. So let's come back up. Make sure that you're painting on that layer mask, and that you have white. I'm going to bring a little bit of that in. Zoom in a little bit. I'm going to hit Shift X so that I can paint black back in to hide some stuff. I don't really want to see like the people. Although maybe you could, I don't know, it's up to you. Do what you want. Soften that edge. I would try to, oh, that's his shirt. I would try to stay away from hard edges right now unless they tend to really belong to an element. I'm going to come back down and sort of hide his, oops. No, that was right. That was just a little too much. I'm going to try to hide his shirt a little bit, like that collar. Just a little. bring that edge back in to make it a little harder. The idea is to try to make it look like they blend together, like they're part of the same thing. So like this hard edge right here, this hard line, that straight line that I see right here, I want to take that out. Don't want to see that, because that was like the bounds of this this picture of the house. All right. Okay, that's a promising start. All right, let's bring the bridge in. Let's see. So make my brush bigger. Is it right here? Yeah, there it is. I'm just gonna kind of reveal it right now and mess with it. All right. So for this one, this is gonna be a little interesting. You could do, so there's some, you can do image masks like we did before with selections. Like when we used our magic wand and we selected that, the rectangle, and then we used that selection to make the image mask. If you want to do something similar, you know, grab the image itself, grab your wand. So I'm going to select all of the bridge here, and then I'm going to come over here and actually, well, yeah, grab that bridge. Come over to the, I'm going to use this as a stencil. So I'm going to come over to the layer mask. I'm going to grab my white and my brush, and then I'm going to just make it a little smaller. I'm going to come in and I'm going to paint on the bridge because I just want to bring the bridge in. So the selection is acting like a, like if you've ever used a stencil and spray painted with a stencil, right? That's what the selection is doing. So it's only letting me paint within the selection right now.
How did you just select the bridge?
So what I did is I came over to the image and see how like dark all those pixels are, right? With your wand tool, you have a tolerance that you can set up here in the options, and that's like how strict is it going to be about selecting pixels that are next to each other, so or similar to each other. So what the wand tool does is it selects a pixel, and then it looks at all the pixels around that pixel that you selected, and if that is within that tolerance, then it also selects that pixel, and so on and so on and so on, until you get to pixels that are very, very different, or outside of that tolerance, and then it doesn't select them. So the lower the tolerance, the more picky the selection is going to be, right? The higher the tolerance, the less picky the selection is going to be. 255 is the highest the tolerance will go, and that will just select the entire image, right? It doesn't care. It makes no difference between the pixels. 25 is probably a good place to sort of end.
And what like thing on the left are you on?
The tool?
Yeah, the tool.
I'm on the wand tool,
Okay.
the magic wand tool, which looks like a magic wand, amazingly. All right, so then I just come over here and I click the bridge and see how it selects like all this other stuff too. I just want to use the middle part, but I use that selection by coming over to the layer mask, and it keeps that selection active even though I clicked on the layer mask. All right, so back to bridge. All right, so that bridge is coming through. I'm gonna up the layers opacity, but I had already gotten some of this blue in there, and I don't really like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invert the selection. Okay, so not everything that I'm selecting, I'm going to now select the negative space. So right now it's selecting all the bridge stuff, kind of like, you know, the shadowy dark areas here. I want to invert that. So you just go to select, inverse. So now it doesn't look like it changed, but what it's actually selecting is all this inside stuff now. So now I can shift back to a black color, and I can hide all that. And actually, I'm going to up my opacity to make it go faster. So you see how it's hiding all that blue stuff, which is not stuff I need. All right, so then to deselect it or unselect it, you can hit Command D or come up to deselect. So that's what got revealed through all that. Actually, come back to it. Get rid of that too. All right, I'm going to clean it up even more here in a second. But if we come over and look at the the layer mask, you can see that shape that I wanted to paint in there. That is a really, really, really useful way to use the layer mask. Yeah, it's gonna make your life a lot easier. Just gonna use that part for now. Brush. All right, so you're just gonna want to play around with it as much as possible. Still don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but for now it's fine. Drop that back down. All right, and drop the transparency back down. Just bring things in and start playing around with them. I know it's about time to go. Have something started for Tuesday. You're gonna have time in class Tuesday, but you're only gonna have half the time because you need to switch. And then we're gonna critique on Thursday. So this one's gonna go kind of fast. Okay? All right? Try to have all your images ready to go. Actually have all your images ready. All right? Don't be looking for images when you come to class on Tuesday. Okay? All right. Okay, have a good weekend. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll put this up.